Welcome back to my channel. This is a reading for Gemini for the month of April. Okay, I am seeing some kind of heavier energy for you, Gemini, in the month of April. It looks like there is going to be a sense of a finality of some sort. Something is coming to a conclusion, but there's a lot of intense energy here, a lot of strong insecurity that's coming through, and a lot of feeling of almost regret and insecurity and all of those things. So I don't know if there is a significant relationship here that is coming into play that is causing you some sense of imbalance, but there is definitely Gemini and Libra energy here as well, Aquarius. There is certainly some sense that there is a conclusion, but there's a healing process that's taking place. I feel further out, you'll feel a lot more optimistic, but right now you're in a place of feeling really insecure on the work front. Definitely feels like there's something there where there's a lot of competition, a lot of insecurity, a lot of feeling of lack, and I feel like you're even willing to maybe travel a little bit for a job situation of some sort here. But you do have the sense of a Seven of Wands. You're really holding your position, even though that position is really one that needs to have some kind of perspective change. But you are looking to the past for some kind of a solution here, especially with the Six of Cups and that Knight of Swords. But I feel like you're just feeling a little lackluster, empty, and it definitely feels like it's around a traditional sort of situation, long-term commitment that isn't able to sort of assist you in this particular area. I feel like there might be the potential of a new job that's up ahead here, but because it's a page of pentacles, it doesn't feel like it's like a new beginning in some area, but a very small token. I do feel like you will have to follow your intuition to be able to get through the scenario here. Definitely it is playing out that there is some kind of a job loss, I would suspect, but there is something that will soon follow thereafter. But again, this month really feels to have a lot of intense energy around it, especially when I see the Death card, and then I also see that it's followed by the Nine of Wands. Oh my gosh, that's a really intense sort of situation right there, of a completion of some sort. So again, the World card is usually a card of a successful end to something here, but again, you're in such a place of healing right now with that star energy, starting out in the month of April, that it feels like there has been something that's really been weighing on you, and it's starting to build up. So something might be culminating a little further out. The main energies are that there is something that's coming to a conclusion, that is going to be kind of wearing very heavily on you, but I feel like it's more along the work front, in that area, like I said, because the star is still, and you're still very hopeful and optimistic here with the star, but it's still a place of, healing and things still not really moving ahead in this month. I would say a lot of it is a holding kind of energy. Like I say, star is still something positive to look forward to, but when I'm looking over here at the Death card, that also is an indicator that you have something that is strongly finishing up here with the World as well as the Death card, and of course the Nine of Wands further out. This has been something that is also going through a period of transformation. So it feels like whatever the ending was in the old way, it is transforming. It is transforming, and that is where I feel you're having some difficulty even as well on that level, adapting, because you are having to change your perspective, and you may not be quite prepared to do that in this month. But I do feel like Scorpio energy could also be relevant here as well, but I still feel like that you're going through the passage of it in the month of April. So you're being forced to make some difficult decisions, in terms of yourself, as far as even in terms of finances. You're having to really downsize, or you're having to being forced to move in some kind of new direction here. But there's also a metamorphosis of some sort that you're having to undertake, because you're at the Nine of Wands, and it's a hard transformation for you, I would say, because you're worn down. You might be clinging to some old situations because there's a certain level of stagnancy here with the Hanged Man, but it's, kind of, even this could even be career change, and, trying to move into some new area, but again, it's still a challenging sort of space, is really what I would say there. But there is still a lot of energy around regeneration and still some success in some ways here, but you have to almost transform internally first before that transformation is being allowed to kind of sweep forward. So before this transition takes place, like I said, you're going through some financial challenges, some insecurities around your, your own um, your own level of insecurity that's what you need to change, right? So you need to turn something around there, enable for you to advance yourself. I mean, I just feel like I don't see like losses exactly, but I do feel there is significant changes that you will have to make within yourself to be able to, and intuitively follow some of the advice that's coming through. Um, because this is some big energy that you're still dealing with. Definitely strong healing, but also some very big conclusions and resolutions to things. But I feel like the backstory seems to be that you are feeling incredibly insecure about your financial position and where you're going, and you're feeling very challenged. And I feel like you feel stuck, is what it feels like in April. And you do need to be able to move forward, and the only way you're going to do that is if you kind of shift your mentality, is really what I would say there, because a lot of the events taking place in this month seem to be around shifting your perspective. So you have to let go of old negative limiting beliefs, all of that, and all those negative patterns, whatever it is that's sort of draining you. Your thinking is really stopping your level of development in a particular area, because this is struggle all over the place here. But it does seem to be around something from the past. And like I said, I mean, it is a long-term commitment. Could also be some issues around government as well that are coming up here. But it's still, it's a challenge. That's all I will say. So prepare for that in April. If you can sock some money away, before this sort of happens, I would say that's to your advantage, because there is some kind of significant changes and some challenge that is going to be on you, that's going to drain you even further in the month of April. So again, some of you, it might be a little further out, because the death card and the world card and all of this stuff is sort of significant energy around healing and transformation and release. But there is balance here as well. It's just you're kind of, before you get to that stage of balance, it's a level of huge exhaustion. You kind of have to cut yourself free from all of those limiting, difficult decisions, that you're challenged by. And again, most of this seems to be very inward energy, where you're stuck in an emotional rut. You're stuck in some kind of dynamic that is, if you embraced some of the changes and allowed yourself to expand a little bit, I feel like you'd have a better, like, start even in the month of March trying to figure out some options to cover you for the month of April. But again, it just feels like there is something here that is a very significant change of some sort that you'll be faced with. And again, there's a lot of it that is going to drain you. And so, your health, you want to make sure to, look after here in March, and knowing what's coming in for April, hopefully that will help you to sort of prepare, because you do some cards of balance here. Like I said, balance and harmony, but I feel like you need to sort of strike a balance, because it feels like there's some up and downs, a lot of up and down cycles in this month here. You're feeling heavily drained, and then you kind of balance yourself out, and it's exhausting you. You're just worn out. Again, that world card means some cycle is finishing up here, so you're going to be able to release some of your boundaries, as you go forward. But again, it still feels like you need to release those boundaries so you can grow. But your health, like I said, it feels like it's kind of mental health, and you're tearing yourself down here is what it feels like in the month of April. Again, it won't resonate for all of you. It's going to be different. You're all on different timelines. And for sure you make different decisions, different dates. So but it does feel like there's that self-actualization kind of struggle that you're going through. And again, I think, what is it, Maslow's pyramid, where you're trying to sort of figure out all of your needs first, and everything sort of falls on a grid of, what's most important. So trying to look at the things that, you need security in your life, you need strong relationships. It's kind of breaking down those elements. And I think if you did that in March, it'll help you considerably in April to kind of circumvent some of these hard choices, because it feels like you're going through life's review here, in some way here with that World card. Again, there's some cards of balance, but there's also a lot of imbalance here too. The Lover's card is you, Gemini, coming through here for sure. There is, that idea that you are trying to, you could be dealing with, a family member or somebody who's very close to you, friend, or however, or a business partnership, something like that. But whatever this cooperative energy is, I mean, it feels like it could be, like I said, air sign as well. Libra, very prevalent, but it definitely feels like there is going to be some kind of balance that will come about through that cooperation, through that kind of coalition of connection. But again, it's the gain that you're getting through, trying to balance it out with someone else. So I don't feel like, you might be overly hostile. I don't know if that's the word, but there's a lot of intensity around that connection, that is feeling like there might be some words, or you're feeling very insecure around a particular connection, again, business or otherwise, but it's a very strong connection, somebody that you've been around, for some time. But again, that Lover's energy is trying to seek balance, as is the Libra energy here with the Justice card. So again, I feel like your choices and the decisions that are made between the two, this strong bond or friendship or whoever it is, whatever this partnership is, will help you to balance out. But there is still a feeling of a lot of intensity around it, and insecurity, and small squabbling and battles and that kind of thing, and being rigid in one's position and not wanting to move, from a particular stance. That kind of thing is really what's coming through. And I feel like you're facing a decision where, somebody has to kind of give here and able to get through this tense period. And that's really what it feels like. April is a bit of a battle, in some way. So even in terms of, overall health, I feel like you just need to really slow it down here, but and try to secure things in March before you sort of go through all of this in the month of April, because it is some kind of relationship challenge that is, coming through as a significant concern. So anyway, sorry, just out and about here. And like I said, I mean, further out, I do see some kind of a job scenario that is coming in here with the Page of Pentacles, but again, it's still a little further out, and it feels like a very small kind of motion toward, even if we were talking about this on an emotional level, this first couple of weeks of April, it looks like whatever small token emotionally is coming through, it's a gesture, is what I would say there. There is a gesture being made towards you, but it just, like I said, it just feels like there's a certain level of reserve or hesitation, in how you're going to accept it. Because, like I said, Page of Pentacles is still a card of, it's a small kind of gesture. That's all I want to say. It's a small gesture. It just doesn't feel like there's going to be any leaps and bounds of connection there. It just feels like there's a lot of guardedness, a lot of small squabbling and all of that kind of thing going through. But again, the page is still a small gesture, but it is a gesture. And again, we still have the Knight of Cups. So somebody's extending themselves in some way, to be able to communicate, although it's not a loving communication of some sort. Um, the intention is heartfelt, but I feel like whatever is being extended is some sense of small beginning, small token, small amount of money, or small, you know, um, level of practical effort that is coming in to help you, but it's very small. Like I said, there is a potential for growth, but it's something to work with for sure. It is practical. It is, something that is useful to you. But again, it feels like there's some positioning here that needs to be kind of renegotiated. Again, still that energy around a partnership of some sort that is where the negotiation needs to take place. Again, it could be however that resonates for you. Um, it's not going to speak to everybody for sure, but it just feels like I said, Page of Pentacles is even around a child. There's a small token of some sort that could be coming in through a child as well, because we do have the energy around the star and the sun, which is Leo energy as well, but it could be a child that is coming into play here that might be able to help in some small way, but it's just not kind of enough is what I would say there, because it feels like there's a lot of energy around struggle and argument and a certain level of I don't know if it's immaturity so much as it is sparking kind of challenging energy. It's just a lot of intensity, and it definitely feels like communication is distant. People are, the situation is, distancing yourself from the scenario. So it's either you or another person is trying to distance yourself from the situation to some degree so that you don't have to deal with whatever the concern is here. There is a sense that there is self-improvement, or at least it's moving in that direction. I don't feel a lot of that taking place in the month of April, but it definitely feels like there is a lot of energy around, wanting to move in that direction, but it's just, there's a lot of defensiveness going on here. So like I said, I feel like you could prepare for this and change the energy. You will still probably be going through some of the major changes here in around you transforming a relationship, seeing things in a new way, but a lot of the change needs to be from an inner point of view here. Again, with the Queen of Cups, I mean, that is somebody who's very intuitively based, but uses their resources from that, sort of spiritual place. So again, I feel like that's a strong resource for you this month, but it definitely speaks to not being blocked emotionally. So by the end of that 2-week period, I feel like you might be a little bit more opened up, because there might be some form of, like I say, help of some sort that's coming in, but it's just a very small token, and it doesn't feel like it's going to be quite enough to make you feel secure. But there's something that could be coming in terms of government or structure or institution or learning, that kind of thing, that is disappointing here, because the Four of Cups shows me that, something didn't come through maybe in what you were hoping for, or just, something was very small token, something along that line even. But it definitely still feels like you are emotionally, like I said, very closed off for most of the month, feeling very challenged. Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo coming through here as well with that Queen of Cups energy. Still speaks to kind of flashes of inspiration or intuition that's coming into you. And I do feel like, this is kind of not feeling like you're in a big hurry. I'm not really sure why there, but that could be because you're trying to figure out a practical way of going forward. But it's definitely, kind of looking at your situation, a lot of anxiety or tightness around the neck, chest, that kind of thing, that might also be coming in here. But it still feels like there is going to be some kind of reason for you to work with somebody else here to be able to negotiate a situation out so that you don't feel so drained. But you've got a lot of boundaries up here, and even though there's some balance coming through, I feel like you really need to kind of alter or shift, because you're feeling stuck. you're feeling stuck with that Hanged Man energy in April. Something, like I said, I think didn't come in for you in the way that you were maybe hoping for, because the Hangman is, something kind of not coming through. And I feel like even though you're finding a way to balance some of it out, I still feel like you need, you're feeling a little bit broken inside, in a sense. It's not that it's not going to change, but like I said, I mean, it feels like you're going to have to undergo some kind of prepare for this, prepare for something, just even on an emotional level and on a mental level, as well as on your financial front. Try to prepare, because it looks like something isn't going to come through quite in the way that you had hoped it would be. Like I said, that's a sense of feeling pressured or trapped as well, and holding back on something. But you're feeling there's a level of sort of sadness that's coming through here, something not coming through as you expected with the Four of Cups, and again the Hierophant. So anyway, that's it feels like it's all going to turn around in the preceding months, but not without some kind of configuring out how to work through this scenario. Like I said, I mean, it might start out here that you're feeling very optimistic, but it feels like the news somehow further out is, making you feel like you haven't lived up to something, or something didn't come through that you were hoping for, because there's a level of disappointment here, for having completed something. It just didn't, something you were hoping, relying on, whatever. It didn't really manifest in quite the way you were hoping. So anyway, whatever that is for you, that's just the first 2 weeks really of April, like I said. But just know that if you can prepare for some of this energy, it's only energy, it's not predictions. If you can prepare for some of the energy that you're working with, I think it'll help you to advance yourself quicker through this energy as well. So, know that the battles are this is insecurity. So, you're going to have to kind of look at some of those areas of feeling like you're not enough, because we've got Five of Pentacles, Five of Wands. That's definitely around money. So there is some feeling of lack, not having enough with those cards, and not feeling, like you are kind of measuring up on some level. That's 2 5s in the reading. And of course, coupled with the sense of being stuck, it just feels like you are going to be emotionally not feeling good about yourself. And I think that you could feel good about yourself and lessen some of this impact, like I said, if you can wrap your head around some of the problem that is going to be, possibly challenging you in that next month. So again, with the Five of Pentacles, it does look like it's in around money. So it feels like you're feeling underemployed, or, again, some difficulty in around businesses and money and that kind of thing. So there's some tension there. And even in terms of physical health, this is lacking nutrition. This is worry, strain, anxiety. It's those kinds of things, not feeling good about a situation. It's stress-related health issues. That will take its toll if you don't kind of counter it beforehand. We've also got that Five of Wands energy. Like I said, that's still energy that's feeling like you're worn out and you have to make some changes on that front. But it's also battles. It's battles with, whoever's kind of in your scenario there. Something needs to be changed and able to progress out of it. So again, it's feeling an inability to make those changes as well. But again, Five of Wands is, feeling like the competition's too stiff, things are too hard. You don't feel like you measure up, you're easily triggered, that kind of thing. It's, feeling like something is interfering with your passions, your pursuits. It's, all that kind of stuff, and I feel like you want to just run away here with the Six of Swords. You want to distance yourself from the battle. But I feel like, even though you're feeling trapped here, I think that you really need to, like I said, try to figure out, rise to the challenge by preparing. If you know that there's a chance that you could lose a job or you could be underemployed, then, put out that many more resumes to kind of circumvent the problem. If you know a big bill is coming in, or there is the potential, given that there's some cards here showing, that you're going to be challenged and something may not be coming through as you expected, just know that you could try to cover that by holding a small reserve or thinking outside the box for another secondary income or whatever that is for you. But there is definitely some sense that you'll have to work through some of this energy here in the first 2 weeks of April. So again, just prepare for that, like I said, because there is a lot of cards here of, sadness, feeling stuck, something from the past that you're a little disappointed in here as well. There is something you're constantly kind of looking back into the past here as well with the Knight of Swords, but you're feeling stuck. This is you feeling challenged. 7 of Wands, you're still in it for the battle, but again, you're trying to distance yourself in this first 2 weeks for sure, because you're just feeling inner battle, conflict. You're just not ready. You're not ready to face something. So anyway, but again, the major players here are that you are healing. And the World card is definitely, things are coming to a conclusion for sure. So all of this underlying kind of energy is still playing out in some way in this month. But again, there is balance that's going to be coming in. Something else, somebody else is kind of helping to kind of balance it out for you. But even with the World card, there's some sense of information or something that's coming through here that could be, for some, this might be an international communication here as well. But it's wrapping up fast, whatever this end is. And with the Death card here as well, especially with the 9 following, it is wrapping up pretty quickly, whatever this conclusion is of hardship. You are going to be moving into a more positive space here, possibly in the next 2 weeks following the beginning of April. But again, it feels like there's some very small energy, small token, small start. That is, instrumental in bringing something forward, but you're not going to be in a positive enough headspace that, or at least this could be past energy here as well, that, that is playing out here. Because I still feel like you, at the beginning of the first 2 weeks, you're hopeful and they're still challenged, but there's some conclusive ending cards here. And like I said, this could be energy you're still kind of strolling through here, this heavier energy, but it feels like it's still somehow playing out in April, or will be at some point in April anyway. All right, well, I don't want to be a big downer on it. Like I said, for the most part, you're still in a place of healing. A lot of energy is, it just feels like a lot of you kind of tearing yourself down. But again, it does feel like you need to make some changes on your, in your finances to kind of cover some of this for this month, because there's just a lot of energy around kind of trying to escape in some way. Not escapism so much as just inner, sadness and overwhelm and that kind of thing, but feeling maybe like a failure in some way, whatever. But just know that you do have some, more positive cards that are coming out here that will turn this around over time. Just this next the first couple of weeks in April, possibly a little further out for some of you as well, will be something you'll have to kind of consider, keeping that extra reserve, because again, it's going to hit your finances, and it's going to be around battles, struggle. It's in around your, it's going to be in around long-term sort of stable ground areas that will be affected. And again, 6s are about trying to find the balance around something, but you're fearing change. And I feel like you have to let go of the old way of doing something and able to kind of get into this new space. Like I said, the 6 of Swords is where you're trying to get away from your problems, but it's also a transitioning point where your situation will eventually improve. But right now, in this 2-week period, and again, some of you, it's going to be further out into April, you're just feeling stuck. And you have to be prepared to go the distance, but know that you don't wait until the energy sort of surrounds you and stifles you. You can, knowing that you have this energy that could be coming into play here, will help you to sort of make different, decisions, and allow for new experiences and allow for some change, so you can kind of reconstruct what might be influencing you in this month, right? So anyway, that's what I have for you, Gemini. I'm sorry it wasn't super positive there, but again, we know that these are all big positive players here. So, there, even though there's a lot of back and forth struggle, I still feel like you're in the process of some kind of big transformation, big transformation, emotionally, and on a few different fronts there, like I said, in the month of April, first 2 weeks. So, and again, some of you, it'll play out a little further. So it's just energy, it's not predictions, but you can always work with whatever you sort of see here and try to kind of soften the blow, or make it work for you. The more positive cards, like I said, I mean, the Lover's card is you're getting some help there for sure, but it's small and incremental, so you're going to have to figure out another way to kind of balance that out. But you're also going through some very deep turmoil, sort of, insecurity kind of issues. And so, knowing that you can put on a video or put on old music or put on something that might help you to kind of reframe things. And again, also reframing, who you are right now and who you want to be, and trying to let go of the past. There is a Silva Mind method that says basically putting things into two different frames. You've got, let's say, a blue frame that outlines, how you're seeing a particular situation in a negative form. And then you then see it in, let's say, a silver frame, and the silver frame highlights everything in a positive form of where things will want to, where you're going to be going with. So it's a shift in perspective. So when you frame it in, the blue frame, it can be more, energy around things that you're releasing. When you frame it in the silver frame, it'll help you to see that things are moving moving ahead in a different way. But again, prepare for some of this energy. Just know that you have some issues that might be arising around your security levels, and know that you've got to have some resources or something pretty quick to kind of take you out of your head, basically, so that you can deal better or more successfully with what you're being faced with in the month of April, first 2 weeks. Looks like, as I said, something is disappointing that is in around possibly a job or a structured situation that you're just not feeling very successful about. Something fell through. Anyway, that's what I have for you for the month of April. But just know you're still in a deep healing, optimistic place. Things are going to go in, moving in a more favorable way further out. It's just, this is a challenging month that you just need to dive deep and kind of prepare for, so that things will continue to move in your favor. Anyway, still have some very positive cards here. Like I said, the fact that you're metamorphosizing and transforming into something new is very favorable, especially when we see it coupled with the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups. These are all still positive cards that are coming through a little further out into the month. But again, that Queen of Cups is, she's a queen, so it's definitely a mature energy. And it definitely speaks to somebody who has a sense of using their resources. And they do. It's a Cancer sign that comes through here also, that could be relevant. But it is allowing the healing to take place from a place of reflection and being calm and serene, and, just allowing yourself to kind of rely on, because Cancers are very strongly connected to family, and this might be something that is relevant for you. But it just feels like you really have to kind of fall upon your resources here and stay very calm, cool, collected, because you do have that positive energy that it will be a resource for you if you can use it to your advantage. And like I said, it feels like it's a little bit more of an intense month for you, but I still feel like there is a lot of love around you, and there is a lot of emotional healing taking place. There's some psychic connections here as well. Also, when I look at the Knight of Cups, that's still action. Knight of Cups is a gesture. This is somebody who's also very protective. I get a protective energy with that Hierophant card. So just know that you're not going through this alone. You are going to be guided, and it definitely feels like there is possibly, even in terms of a romance, there could be more of an emotional connection that's strengthening something there. But it definitely feels like it's still an extension of one's heart to you. again, however that resonates, and it doesn't have to be a love relationship, but it could be just a heartfelt thing that's being extended to you toward the end of the month, or the intention is from a heartfelt place. Page of Pentacles still indicates that it could be on more of a practical, grounded level, something that is the result of that heartfelt intention. Anyway, that's what I have for you, Gemini. So again, some very positive cards coming through. It's just very big transformation. Just know that you're still sort of struggling with a lot of inner little battles and squabbles with, you know, another here as well. And just make sure that you have something proactive here in terms of your finances to kind of balance out some of this challenge that you're going to be facing, because otherwise it's just a drain on you. And you don't need to feel stuck if you can find a way out of that. Like I said, prepare by creating more solutions for yourself in the middle of April or beginning of April, you know, however this is going to resonate for you. So you might have to do it toward the end of March, just so you can kind of secure your position. But either way, keep moving forward, never give up. You have some very positive cards here, and definitely it's just very transformative energy, and that transformative energy can be really hard to sort of deal with, like I said, overall. But again, there's still minor arcana that you're struggling with, so consider that a positive. The big cards are that you're transforming and that the cycles are finishing, but the minor, you know, things that you're dealing with will be around your self-esteem, and I mean that takes its toll. So I'm just saying, be aware that you can, you know, modify some of the effects that you're going to be dealing with, because that Queen of Cups energy is somebody being very empathetic towards you, and you could be very empathetic towards yourself just by being patient and calm and willing to you know, find, you know, a kind way to speak to yourself, those kinds of things. Like I said, it just feels like it's also about self-expression here too. But like I said, I mean, the cards I think you just really need to deal with here would be the Five of Pentacles. It's just that there's some challenge that you need to kind of face around your finances there, and you can prepare for that in the latter half of March, because, you know, it is going to be, especially with the World card there, you know, there's a sense that you're feeling emotionally wounded because you're just feeling like you're not enough somehow. You're not enough financially, or that you're feeling like you're kind of stuck in some way. Like I said, you're trying to look for some support here, low self-esteem, and just feeling, you know, like you're not measuring up in some way. So again, how do you turn that around? Even if things are feeling like it's beyond your sense of control, you can take control of it right now in March. You can start the process of, you know, trying to make yourself feel more secure. You know, you don't have to reject yourself. You can, you know, take on this temporary hardship as a challenge and see whatever you can make happen, you know, in the last couple of weeks of March, like I said, because you're kind of dealing with something that you need to straighten it out, is what I'm saying. You need to straighten it out and balance it, and it is going to rely on your inner fortitude and perseverance here with that Nine of Wands to be able to make that happen. So anyway, I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to go on about it anymore, because like I say, your major cards out are that you are healing and you are transforming, and there's some deep conclusions here. Just make sure to kind of look after the inner you as well in this month, and keep moving forward. Don't give up, because you got a lot to look forward here. Things are going to be balancing out. You do have a support system. You have people in your corner here. It's just that there's just going to be some small bits of help here, and the rest is sort of on you. Don't be too hard on yourself in the month of April, like I say, because it looks like something might not come through for you, maybe in a timely fashion, or it may not be coming through at all. Not sure yet, but either way, it's going to be a bit of a disappointment. So you can still plan for that. You still have the power to make those changes. Anyway, that is what I have for you, Gemini, for the first 2 weeks of April. Keep moving forward. Never give up.